welcome back to Coffee with the Wolves. I'm your host, Damian Dennis, joined once again by women's basketball coach Shaun Sanderson. Shaun, once again, I have to mute you for the Wolf Howl laugh.
I know. I haven't gotten used to it yet.
Which is funny because you've been on officially the most on this show so far, but that's a good thing because we have plenty to talk about.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm going to start roasting you immediately, so we're going to
Okay,
dive
bring
in.
it.
Um, you were last on 2 weeks ago.
Hmm.
In that time, you've the Wolves have kind of stayed even. You went 2-2 since the last time you've been on the show, sitting at 11-11 overall.
Hmm.
Um, how are how are you guys going to get over the hump, kind of break 500 and stay above it? It's not. I feel a little rude saying that, but I'm curious.
No, this is the meat of our schedule. We are part of this independent alliance, and with it, it's like the top teams in our region. Despite the two losses, we're right there. Yeah, we're right there competing with these teams, and unfortunately, we lost the other night after having a 21-point lead. But it's given us teaching points to be able to tell the girls, this is why we have to do this. This is why we have to go that. This is why this angle is important. This is why spacing is so important. So it allows us to put the girls in situations that they haven't seen. But it's also a key moment because down the stretch, they have to listen to their coaches and trust their coaches. So moving forward, when we get to those playoff situations, hopefully we are recreating those moments, but learning from those moments.
Now you mentioned the loss the other night, Tuesday night, up 21
Hmm.
at one point over Bryant and Stratton. Ended up losing 104-99 in overtime. Really want to start by just saying what went wrong there.
And let me just say that was a fun game to coach, despite getting a loss. And I told them at the end of the game, the L is for learning, not a loss. But we got relaxed. We went in with a 13-point lead at half, increased it to the 21-point lead, but we got relaxed. And I saw it right away. We weren't moving on the flight of the ball. We were just reacting to, so, oh, it's over here. All right, let me turn and play defense over here. And you can't do that against a Bryan and Stratton team, or any team for that matter. But they're probably the best three-point shooting team, I would say, that we've seen in our region. And there were a bunch of veterans. And you just saw the confidence. They just shot three after three after three. So we didn't rebound when we needed to, and then we turned it over. I saw this last night. We had 29 turnovers in that game. We weren't supposed to be in that game, and we can contribute that to the loss with 29 turnovers, and not rebounding. We shot well from the free throw line, but we didn't make them when they counted.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, there were some highlights in that game, though. Key thing I want to highlight real quick: Grace Harris. She scored, I think it was like 32 points, something around there.
Yes.
You know, kind of willed the team at least into overtime. Despite everything. What can you say about her performance on Tuesday?
She came out firing. I think the first basket, she set the tone right away. Halftime, she had 20 points, and that's the beauty of watching her play. It's not just in points. She shares the ball, so she'll have like 6 or 7 assists, 7 rebounds, a couple steals, good defense. Um, she tried, but it can't just be her. And she saw a lot of double teams, and the main focus became her. And she knows, and she'll get better. It was a couple of turnovers late. I know she wish she can get back, but her teammates, they have to step up as well. This isn't the great show. That jersey says Joliet. But they have to be able to step up when she's being attacked, because they're going to keep coming. They're going to keep coming at her. But she holds her own pretty well. But I'm really anxious to see us moving forward. How much we've learned from this.
Now, I want to ask a little bit about 80s night because I know you were dressed up out there, and we had did something a week before, to promote it on Instagram.
Hmm.
How how was 80s night? How was it for both women's and the men's game?
I thought it was great. We had my man DJ Spoil Milk with the on the ones and twos. So Um, unfortunately, our team, their parents were born in the 80s, so they don't really know what the 80s were, but I was able to live in that moment. So it was the gym shoes, the sweatsuits, the gold chains, and and I, they didn't even know who Run DMC was. So, but ironically,
That's funny.
yeah, they know who the children of, Reverend Run,
Hmm.
they know who that is. But I enjoyed the '80s. I thought it was a fun night. I saw a few people dancing, and some of those songs even took me back to my college days. And that makes me sound so old, but no, it was. I thought it was a success, and we
Yeah.
want to make that grow, get more staff and faculty involved as well.
Now it looked like it was a great crowd on Tuesday too. So that's great.
Yep, yep,
And we'll stick with some positives now though,
sure.
because since you've been on, you know, you also played South Suburban College, which was a big win for you guys. You won 85-38.
Yes.
I want to ask what went right in that win, and how do you kind of maintain that and get back to that? Because of course that was what was that Saturday or
S
last week sometime.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yep, last Tuesday.
So how do you maintain that and kind of like keep doing that after this week?
Yeah, I think to answer your question, everything went right in that game. I had to hold the Wolves back, so to say. That game could have been a lot worse. South Suburban over the years, they're having a down year with some injuries and the numbers are low. So we always talked about respecting our opponent because that could be us one day. And years ago it was. So you want to make sure you respect the game, respect your opponent, but at the same time you want to beat them. It could have been a lot worse than what it was, but we were able to work on some things with our offense and take a lot of jump shots to make sure we're hitting them in the rhythm. But South Suburban, they'll be back. They'll be back. Coach Rue over there at AD, he does a great job with his coaching staffs. So they'll be back, and you know, to some degree, it wasn't fun winning like that. But we were just glad to get everybody out of that game healthy and get ready for that next game, which was against Milwaukee.
Right.
Yep.
And speaking of Milwaukee, I believe they're the team that snapped your 6 game win streak. Ended 2023 on a high note,
Hmm.
continued that high note into the new year. 6 games straight victories. Milwaukee knocked you off, but I kind of want to ask that streak, that run. What kind of benefit did that have on the team in terms of maybe chemistry or confidence?
That's the probably the toughest place to play in this region, and you can't. I can scream. The atmosphere, not only with the fans, but just the sound. It's hard to communicate. Um, that was like a real playoff atmosphere. Aaron Morrell, who's a good friend of mine, he knows me, I know him, and it was kind of watching two coaches or two teams like in a heavyweight bout. Both came out a little slow. Um, it's like I know what he's going to do. He knows what I'm going to do. But I told the girls that whoever won that rebounding battle was going to win the game, and they won the rebounding battle. Interesting stat. I did an interview the other day. Every game that we've lost, we rebounded. It was under 40. Every game we won, we got more than
Yeah,
40 rebounds. So that's one of our key stats that we look for. So they got us. We'll see them again real soon.
yeah. You mentioned rebounding. Now, coming up after I talked to you,
Hmm.
got Kiyah Robertson. She's been one of your key rebounders this season, and she's off camera, so it's
Yeah.
going to be fun talking about her with her in the room. But she's averaging 6.9 rebounds per game. How has she kind of developed over the course of the season and kind of contributes to that? Because as you mentioned, a stat that I didn't know, when you rebound, you get more than 40 rebounds, you're winning, and when you get under, you're losing. So,
Yeah, yeah. She's really progressing. She had to learn us, and we had to learn her. So it's kind of a mutual thing. But we know what buttons to push, and I kind of go back to that Peoria tournament. She stepped up to the challenge. She had a streak there when she had double double in points and rebounds. So that streak was broken, unfortunately. But I'm hoping tonight she'll be able to get that back. But she's stepping up to the challenge. She's always in the gym. She wants to get better. She's looking for the knowledge. And I think sometimes she can be too hard on herself. And we just had this conversation just before this interview. I talked about when you get better. She said this seems a little easy, but when you get better and something clicks, it does become more easier. When you become more knowledgeable of the game, things start to slow down. It's like that teenager that's driving, and when they get older, everything is slow. So she's starting to take that next step into improvement. So, but yeah, rebounding is key, and we're on her. Like we expect double digits from her. So, and we settle nothing less. And when she's not there, she's having an off night.
Now, Coach, we're probably not going to have you on again until about the beginning of March.
Oh,
You're gonna
shucks.
be in postseason mode at that point because I've got Coffee with the Wolves scheduled out through the month of
Okay,
February.
okay, fair.
Uh, we have Danny, the men's coach, coming on in 2 weeks. But other than that, we're gonna have baseball, softball, the sports performance psychology.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so I want to ask, since this is the last time we're going to talk for a while, at least on camera, what are you kind of your predictions, your expectations moving into the rest of the regular season?
Um, that we're gonna get better. That we will get better. I the main thing is our goal. We want to win it all. We have a great opportunity with this group, very talented group. And as a coaching staff, we don't want to waste this opportunity not to win it all. We've seen the top teams. We've seen the teams that's going to be at the national tournament. We're right now preparing for those teams. We're watching film, preparing for the next the tournament. So there's an expectation as a staff, and we want that expectation to filter down to our players. I hope we'll be sitting here talking about what size rings we'll have and things like that. But we don't want to look too far ahead and just stay in the moment and get better. But from expectation, look, we're already regional champs. There's no other team. But the focus after the season immediately will be focused to get to that district championship. You win that game, now you're at the national tournament. So I expect to be sitting here with you talking about one of these championships.
I look forward to it. I hope that's exactly what happens.
All right, let's
So
make it a date.
yeah, so we'll be back in a moment with Kiyah Robertson. But Shaun, thanks for joining me as always.
Yeah,
Third
thanks
time.
for having me. Thanks for having me.
There's the laugh. Next up, we've got Kiyah Robertson, freshman. Kiyah, how you doing?
I'm good.
Have you ever been interviewed on camera, on the radio, anything like that?
No, no,
Nervous at all?
no. I'm cool.
Cool. So we're just gonna dive right in. So far this season, you're averaging 14.4 points per game, 6.9 rebounds per game. Uh, Freshman year, first year of college, midway through, I want to ask, how are you feeling kind of like at this point in the season, this point in the year, just about your own performance and kind of your own, I guess, chemistry with your teammates and your coaches?
Performance wise, I feel like I'm doing okay. I'm not doing my best. Like, I always expect so much from myself. And right now, I just feel like I'm getting there. I'm getting like into the swing of playing college basketball. So it's taking time. But like, I realized I got to put more work than just like practices. And I think that's my biggest, like my biggest obstacle right now is trying to put in more work to be better than I was yesterday.
What's the adjustment like from, high school to college? Just, what's different? What's the same?
I think the work ethic is different. In high school, we didn't have to like we don't run the way we run here, and that was like my biggest adjustment. Like I was not like asked to do so much work and like run the floor and do all that. So I think that was like my biggest adjustment.
What Tell us a little bit about that chemistry with your teammates too. Just how are you vibing with your teammates out there on the floor? in practice and in game time situations.
I feel like now it's better. That winning streak that helped us out a little bit. We got to know each other more. We talked more. I feel like now we're just in a place where we know how each other play. So like they know when to pass me the ball and like when not to pass me the ball, and I think that's the biggest thing.
Funny thing about that is you jumped from the top of my list here to the bottom because I was going to ask you about that 6 game win streak. So let's just stick to that for a moment. You talked about the benefits. Was there anything maybe negative that came out of that win streak for you guys as a team? Perhaps maybe overconfidence, maybe not taking maybe certain situations too seriously because of the win streak, or
Mm, I think the winning streak made us overconfident, especially going into that game that we lost. We had it in our mind that we had already been winning, so this was just going to be another win. So we didn't come into the game with enough energy.
and kind of sticking with losses. I don't want to rag on it too much,
Mhm.
but the overtime loss this past Tuesday, we talked about it with Shaun. It's so weird to be up by as much as 21 points, but then to lose in overtime 104 to 99. What kind of being out there on the floor, performing in that game. What do you think went wrong, and what went right too? Because you guys were on fire to start.
I think we got too big headed. Like we were up by so much, we thought, okay, we were just gonna go through the motions, score, and keep running up the score. So and we always struggle in the third quarter. We come out too like relaxed and lazy. So that was our biggest issue, and we had like a scoring drought. So
Yeah. How do you kind of overcome that? Maybe starting the third quarter as hot as you do the first.
overcome it. I feel like it takes one person to take charge on the floor and get everyone talking. So if we're all off, then it won't work.
Cool. Um, go back to your performance, just overall. How can you improve, kind of as the season progresses and you start making that postseason push?
Um, I think about it too much. I feel like if I just go through the motions and just play the game, then my improvement will be there, and also put in more work in the gym.
Cool. So, just gonna try and spitball a couple questions
hmm
now. Really, I want to know a little bit more about you. How did you get started? Playing the sport of basketball.
I didn't start playing seriously until my freshman year of high school. It was just something to do. It really wasn't no like I just didn't have anything to do, so I just started playing,
And it turned into
and
you.
it would turned into something like I turned like my biggest insecurity into like my biggest success. So
Yeah. Now, how are you enjoying just college in general so far? Because it is your first year.
hmm
What are you enjoying just about whether it's you know the student athlete part of stuff or
hmm
even just being a student.
I feel like the freedom part of it, like not having to be on such someone else's time,
Hmm.
but then it's also a little hard, like with the responsibility portion of it. But other than that, I feel like freedom is like it's real cool.
Being a student athlete, I know like you don't have as much freedom as maybe
Mhm.
just the regular student body because
Mhm.
you have set practices, meetings, that
Yeah.
sort of thing. But when it comes to classes, how much freedom do you have when it comes to like choosing when and where to take classes?
Um, I don't even know, but I just feel like my schedule, like with classes and stuff, it's like it's chill enough where I have just the whole day to just after my class, I can just focus on like practice and basketball and stuff. So I think that's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah. Have you decided a major yet, or are you still
Yeah, I'm in
undecided?
like the kinesiology world. Like I want to be an athletic trainer.
Cool, that's awesome.
Mhm.
Well, hey, Kai, I appreciate you joining us
Mhm.
for Coffee with the Wolves. Not going to keep you too much longer. I know you probably have class, practice, something coming up. And if it's practice, Sean will probably be there too. So, actually, it's Thursday. You got
It's
a
game
game
day.
coming up. Yeah, a game. I forgot about that. All right. Well, this has been Coffee with the Wolves. We'll see you next week. Thanks.